somehow just record the voice and record the sound, and then overlay the sound, which would probably be an interesting comical thing, but you would have voice and you would have sound,
Right.
or video. They wouldn't. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It might be comical, but you would at least have voice recording to an audience.
Or they could just put the audio up. No, the phone. I didn't bring mine, but it records. It records your.
Right.
Yeah. So I don't know why.
Check.
Test. Test. Test.
Test.
Hello. Hi. Okay.
Testing.
All right, we're back on.
We're in.
Hello?
Thanks to Steve.
Test, test, test. Okay. Yay, we're back on. Talk fast. All right, can everybody hear me in the back of the room? Thank you, okay. Sorry for the delay. As you can see, we are operating under current construction in progress. So as we have said with many of our residents around the city, when we're working getting Google Fiber installed and we're redoing streets and curbs, sometimes progress is painful. But you are able to see work that is being completed here at City Hall. We just had a little bit of a battle with our own microphones, but we are back live and ready to begin the Raytown Board of Aldermen meeting, October 7th, 2014, regular session number 36, and the Kansas City Royals are in the playoffs. We're going to ask our friend Rex Block to deliver the invocation and Pledge of Allegiance, please.
Friends, I ask you to turn your focus to your higher power, whether that is within yourself or to your supreme being. Oh God, we ask you to guide our aldermen in their consultations, to enable them to reach decisions that will promote the well-being of all the citizens and businesses of Raytown. That their consultations be conducted in an atmosphere of unity, concord, and friendship. Help them, O God, in their endeavor, and grant them strength to serve Thee. O God, leave them not to themselves, but guide their steps by the light of Thy knowledge, and cheer their hearts by Thy love. Verily, Thou art their helper and their Lord. Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Rex. We'll ask our full-service city attorney acting as the city clerk tonight to call the roll.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Alderman Kramer.
Sure, you here? All right.
We had a sidebar going on there.
It's still Alderman Kramer. Good. Alderman Josh Green.
Here.
Alderman Azier.
Here.
Alderman Jason Green. Here. Alderman Emerson.
Here.
Alderman Melson.
Here.
Alderman Ertz.
Here.
Alderman Van Buskirk.
Here.
Alderman Mock.
Well, here.
Alderman Lightfoot.
Here.
Mayor Bowers present.
They have a quorum. Very good. I'm going to, at this time, read a proclamation regarding Breast Cancer Awareness Month. This year, over 230,000 women are expected to be diagnosed with breast cancer, with more than 40,000 women expected to die from this disease. It is the most common non-skin cancer and second leading cause of cancer-related deaths among women in the United States. As we observe National Breast Cancer Awareness Month, we salute the brave Americans who are fighting this disease, including their families and friends, advocates, researchers, and healthcare providers. We also pause to remember and pray for those we have lost to breast cancer. And whereas screening and early detection are essential to our nation's fight against breast cancer, The National Cancer Institute recommends that women age 40 and older have mammograms every 1 to 2 years. Women who are at risk should talk with their health care providers about whether to have mammograms before age 40 and how often to have them. Every day, health professionals are improving programs that address the issues women encounter in obtaining appropriate and timely treatment. Whereas our nation has made significant progress in the fight against breast cancer, and we remain firm in our commitment to do more. This month, we reaffirm our commitment to reduce the burden of breast cancer and support for those who are living with this devastating disease. By raising awareness of this disease and supporting research, we can usher in a new era in our struggle against breast cancer. I, David Bauer, Mayor of the great city of Raytown, do hereby recognize October 2014 as Breast Cancer Awareness Month throughout the city of Raytown and encourage all residents, government agencies, private businesses, nonprofit organizations, and other interested groups to join in activities that will help Americans understand what they can do to prevent and control breast cancer. Signed, 7th day of October. And with that complete, I'm going to ask I believe, Chief, you've got a presentation regarding REAP.
Thank you, Mayor, Board of Alderman. Tonight we're here to present a check to Al Brown and REAP. For the last 11 years collectively, the Raytown Police Benefit Fund has raised nearly $150,000 for charities in and around Raytown area. The idea of starting a golf tournament started one night with a conversation a couple of us had at the old Laurel Lanes, and Judy Haig. Judy? It started with her, really. It really did. She came up with this idea, and we've been doing it for 11 years, and it's been very successful. It's important to note that there are other charities that benefit from this, such as Hope House, Kansas City Crime Commission, MOXA, Olathe chapter of the NAACP, the Human Relations Commission, the annual Martin Luther King celebration, our Impact, Project Graduation, Shepherd Center, Southeast Enterprise, Special Olympics, Wayside Waves, the Raytown School District Sports, Raytown Educational Foundation, and the Truman Heartland Foundation. Those are all the majority. There's others. This work's not done by one individual. It's a group effort. We thank everyone and the sponsors and the players that came out. There is one individual who deserves some special recognition, and it would, if he wasn't chasing down sponsors and making this a very successful event for, financially, it's Sergeant Mike McDonough. He does this year after year, and goes and gets money, and we're able to be here tonight and present a check to Al Brown and REAP in the amount of $10,700 and $707.64. Al.
I will not try to put this through the drive-through. Every year I get up here and I just cannot thank the sponsors and the participants enough. I understand, however, Pat Ertz is not going to go into the pro golf arena. And Mike McDonough does one hell of a job. But keep in mind, he does use his gun to get donations. Anyway, on behalf of the board of directors, all the volunteers, myself, but most importantly, the clients we serve, this $10,000 plus will change people's lives. I want you all to remember this winter, when you need to turn your furnace on because it's cold, there will be people in the Raytown area who do not have that luxury. They have no gas. Some have no water. Some have no electricity. Some have no food to provide for their families. But with kindness and generosity from this check and the people who helped this happen, I say thank you.
Hey, Steve. All right, very good. We've got, we're now in the public comments section, and Whitty, you're the only one that I've had sign up tonight for public comments. Welcome.
Thank you. Our Honorable Mayor, David Bauer, our members of the Board of Aldermen, ladies and gentlemen, I want to bring you up to date regarding my meeting with Superintendent of Schools, Dr. Markley. That was last Tuesday. He told me that the students had been presented with a statewide test using the Common Core curriculum, whereas they had been prepared for the old curriculum. When the new curriculum came into the picture, I don't know. But in the year 2013, the school district had a rating of 85%. In the year 2014, it dropped to 71.8. Now, they told me we have an influx of transient students coming in from other areas, and that had something to do with the drop in the percentage also. I told Dr. Markley that I had some concern also about lack of PTA involvement on the part of parents and what could be done to improve that situation. He told me there were a number of one-parent households, and there were parents that had more than one job, and that caused some of the problem. Also, I think there's a lack of interest on the part of parents. They're too much involved in other areas. They're always there when it comes to sports, but when it comes to the curriculum on the part of their child, it's a different story entirely. I told him that the school district residents should be informed of what he just told me. And Dr. Markley told me that the Common Core curriculum being taught across the country will enable students moving from one city to or state to another will be on the same page as they were at the old school when they moved to the new school. So we discussed, I told him at that time that I had signed the application to become a volunteer to try to help to bring those students that were behind, to move them ahead so that they will have a better chance of graduating from high school to get a good job and have fewer of them being left on the streets and maybe to face prison down the road. So we want to help these children move forward. And it's our responsibility as residents of the school district that we live in to do what we can to help these children. Now, I did some research on the computer, and I definitely can see why Common Core curriculum is important. The United States ranks low compared to other developed countries, so we need to bring that percentage up. And that's by having a Common Core method of teaching where it's going to be the same across the nation or across town. Now on Monday, October the 13th at 6:30 p.m., I plan to speak before the school district school board to request that they, number one, follow through and provide online new math Common Core curriculum information to the parents so that the parents can then provide that information to their child and help them with their math program and not separate the child from the parent, which can happen if the parent's not on the same level as the teacher. Also, to make every effort to let residents know volunteers are needed to help with students having problems. Number three, make a public statement as to why Common Core curriculum is important. A lot of people hate it, but after reading the information on the internet, I think it's very important. Number 4, make an effort to increase parental participation in PTA meetings so that they can work with the teacher to educate the child. Number 5, to ask what the school board plans to do to increase our school district's rating so that home buyers will be more interested in purchasing a home in our school district. It is my hope that residents will want to attend this school board meeting at 6:30 p.m. on October the 13th to see what the school board is going to answer to those questions I present. I hope to see you there. The meeting will be at the administration office located in the 6600 block of Raytown Road. Hope to see you there. Let's work together to help our kids. Thank you.
Thanks, Woody. Okay, I don't have anyone else having signed up. Is anyone in the audience wishing to speak to the board tonight on items that are within the board's control? Okay, we'll move on. Still a couple of great weeks we've had here in the city of Raytown. We're very fortunate to celebrate the Arts in the Park, Arts and Music in the Park on September 27th, a very well-attended event. We are still looking for the mailbox that seems to be missing for Brewer and Shipley, but I'm sure the chief will come up with a mailbox that's been missing for a number of years here. But that seemed to be a hot topic that night, and we look forward to many more events in the future years with Arts in the Park, Arts and Music in the Park, excuse me. It was a wonderful event. I had the opportunity this past week also to attend a dinner with the Kansas and Missouri mayors. It was more or less a networking event, but we also hit some interesting topics such as the KCI Airport, regional transportation, and a number of things that are mutually of concern for both the Kansas and Missouri mayors, and there were probably 35 total of us in attendance, and it was well received, and I think it put Raytown again on the map and where we want to be from a level standpoint. So with that, again, a lot of good things are happening here in the city. You're seeing tonight, again, the progress being made in our council chambers. We've also had improvements throughout the building as well, and we look forward to those continuing as well. And with that, I'm going to turn it over to Mahesh Sharma, our city administrator.
Good evening, Mayor Bauer, Board of Aldermen. Since I have an item on the agenda, I'll be talking about a lot of things. But before, I would just like to make a comment that this meeting would be the last meeting for Andy Knoll, our Director of Public Works, and I'll take this opportunity and invite him to say a few words, and afterwards, when the committee reports is provided, Alderman and Mayor Bauer, you can make your comments as well. So Andy Knoll, a few words from you.
Wipe the grin off your face.
Really wasn't planning on saying a lot till Mahesh talked to me about 30 minutes ago. I think the biggest thing I want to do is thank you for your support on some of the changes that I've recommended, always with the intent to make things better for everybody in this community. It's the one thing in public works that I can do is I can affect how everybody, how they function. That's the one thing I try to do is what can I do to help everybody. I know it's not always a popular thing, but I do appreciate your support because I know that's not always been easy, and I do appreciate that support and the opportunities to try some of those new things and willingness to do that. I do appreciate that very much. I want to thank you very much for that. I do look forward to new opportunities, and as I'm sure challenges will come along for everybody involved. So I do wish everybody good luck, and I appreciate the time and the support from the rest of the staff as well. It's been a real rarity, I think, of how well along as staff have been able to get along and try to accomplish items and tasks and spend more time moving forward than moving sideways or backwards, and that's been very energizing along the path and through the challenges, and we're always trying to support each other. So I do appreciate the support from Mahesh and the rest of the staff as well, and from the people, from the public works employees who really do all the hard work I try to think of ways to make it better. They're the ones who really implement almost all of that effort and those ideas, and I appreciate their support and their hard work day in and day out, especially when it's snowing, when it's cold. When it's raining and you're working a sewer backup, I know none of that's fun, but those are items that really do impact individuals in the community, trying to make their everyday life easier and simpler. So once again, I appreciate the opportunity and the support. Thank you.
Any comments from the board? Ms. Emerson?
I just want to say thank you. You've done a magnificent job, and we will certainly miss you.
Ms. Melson?
I also want to thank you. And as you can tell by my grin and the looking around this room at all the changes, I'm ecstatic. After looking at this stuff for 16 years, I am so amazed that this finally come to fruition, not only in this room, but in the bathrooms and in the conference room. And those are just little things, but they do make a big impact. And I think also with like the snow removal and different things like that, it has made a big impact on a lot of people. And we've gotten accolades for that. So I do appreciate your work for City of Raytown.
Mr. Green?
Andy, I just wanted to say thank you. And when you know, I mean, as I'm kind of one of the new faces up here, when I started up here, you were one of the people that really made me feel welcome and was willing to work with me on, you know, I'd probably say multiple times that I just came into your office kind of unannounced. So thank you for all the help and basically your open door. It's helped me so much in my first year and a half.
Mr. Van Buskirk?
Mr. Knoll, thank you for the job you've done for our city. I personally appreciate it, and you're probably not going to miss my phone calls. I'll call you often, and I certainly wish you the best in your new endeavor, and I know you do well.
Mr. Ertz?
Yes, thank you. You definitely are leaving Raytown better than when you got here. You've done a great job. It's sincerely appreciated. Big shoes to fill for Mahesh to find, but we appreciate the challenge. Thanks.
Mr. Azure?
Yeah, Andy, I'd like to thank you, not just for myself, but for the voters of Ward 2. The times that they had requests that you're willing to listen to them, to follow through with that. Certainly means a lot to the citizens when they have a public works department that reaches out to the citizens when they feel they are in need. And also, there's been a lot of transitions at Public Works since you took over, from all the way down below the bridge, the Public Works building, and the things you've had to deal with, such as recycling. And they've been big challenges to the city, and I think you did a really good job with that. Thank you.
Mr. Kramer?
I, like everybody else, want to thank you for the job you've done. You've done an exemplary job turning this community around. Whether, as Mr. Azure mentioned, the Public Works building, or the streets, or the snow removal, or stormwater situations. I mean, it's just countless things that you've helped us improve. The infrastructure and the outlook, whether it be this room or, like I said, the Public Works building. But we couldn't have done it without you, so thank you.
Mr. Mock?
I know, working with me the last few years, I know you've really enjoyed that. But honestly, you're probably one of the best public works directors we've ever had in the city of Raytown. I've been here an awful long time to recognize that also. So, Andy, good work, and thank you very much.
All right, Andy, a couple things. One, I know you've had some tough shoes to fill. 8 years ago, we hired, or close to 8 years ago, we hired Mahesh Sharma as our Director of Public Works, and then moved him eventually, and obviously, to the City Administrator's role. So you did have some tough shoes to fill, and I thought he was the best. And I think he has done a good job of training you and bringing you along, and I think you, sir, have done as well, and you continue to move the city forward. Our infrastructure was struggling 8 years ago. A lot of improvements been made. You reached out and found a way to improve upon the surface treatment, more paving per year based on newfound technology that you helped research with your staff, and I commend you for that. And I commend you also for empowering your staff to come up with additional ideas that, again, have made this city a better place. A lot of people were shocked when they saw a different colored pavement going down. I remember very well how that occurred, but you, sir, were able to stretch the budget further than it has ever been stretched before, and you brought this infrastructure back from where it was lacking severely 8 years ago. And you and Mahesh have done a great job in doing that. I know that you've teamed well, and that it's an extremely good senior staff that we've had. I know that you're going to do well in your next job, and because you've done an excellent job with us, sir. So I thank you for all your time, your patience with us, your quick responses to the citizens. I myself have seen a number of those, and your quick response to those is admirable, and it's the way we want this city to be run. And I appreciate your professionalism. So thank you, Andy, for all that you've done for the city. Thanks, sir. What else you got, Mahesh?
With that, I will also inform the governing body as we are in the process of recruiting the next Director of Public Works. We have engaged with the services of Jim Melvin. Jim happens to be here tonight. For the time being, he will be serving as the interim Director of Public Works until we find a permanent replacement. So I just wanted board to be aware of it, and I wanted to introduce Jim Melvin. So after Friday, when Andy Knoll leaves, you would have a point of contact. With that, I will conclude my report tonight.
Very good. We'll go to committee reports. I'll start on my right. Mr. Green?
Nothing to report this time.
Mr. Kramer?
Nothing to report.
Mr. Green?
Two quick things here. First,
Committee reports, right?
yeah,
Okay. Good.
like you asked.
All right. Attaboy.
Anyway, the Raytown Fire Protection District's going to observe the National Fire Protection Week starting Sunday, so 2 days ago, October 5th to the 11th. It's going to end with an open house at Fire Station 1 off Raytown Traffic Way from 10 to 6 on October 11th. So be kind of neat to go check that out. And the second thing, I just want to mention that I lost a friendly wager with my friend Pat Ertz, and we will be, as Raytown South defeated Raytown Blue Jays in football a couple weeks ago, and although unfortunate, their streak continues.
This is the committee report you were talking about,
That
right?
is correct.
Yeah, okay.
Nothing more Raytown than that. So, at any rate, thank you.
I'll check and make sure what committee that's from, but I appreciate your comments on that. Mr. Azier, any committee reports? Ms. Melson?
Not at this time.
Ms. Emerson?
Not at this time.
Mr. Ertz?
I think what I have will come up later.
Mr. Van Buskirk?
Nothing this evening, sir.
Mr. Mock?
Oh, yes. Okay. There's a, first off, I'd like to thank the Council on Aging for letting me serve as their liaison the last few years. And thank the committee themselves. Alice Stoll, thank you very much.
Steve, I thank you for doing a great job. You've been our liaison to Council on Aging. You had asked to resign your position as things are getting busy with your work and all. I completely respect that and all that you've done, and we'll be looking for a suitable, as close to a suitable replacement as we can get for the great Steve Mock. So thank you for your time and energy for that great group of people working on Council on Aging. Michael? Mr.
No legislative report.
All right, very good. We'll move to the legislative session at this time. We've got just the one item on the consent agenda. Entertain a motion to approve the consent agenda. Mr. Azier's got the motion to approve, seconded by Ms. Melson. Any discussion before we vote on that motion? I'll ask the lovely city clerk to call the vote on that, please.
The lovely city clerk calls on Alderman Azier,
Yes.
Alderman Melson,
Yes.
Alderman Emerson,
Yes.
Alderman Kramer,
Yes.
Alderman Hertz,
Yes.
Alderman Jason Green. Yes. Alderman Josh Green.
Yes.
Alderman Van Buskirk.
Yes.
Alderman Lightfoot.
Yes.
Alderman Mock.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Ask the clerk to perform the first reading on item number 2. It's a resolution, so it only requires one reading anyway. The regular agenda we're into now. So item 2, please.
Item 2, Resolution 2710-14, a resolution authorizing and approving the acceptance of a Missouri Department of Transportation Highway Safety Crash Reduction Hazardous Moving Enforcement Grant in the amount of $11,850 and amending the fiscal year 2013-2014 budget.
Chief, anything you want to add to this, sir?
Just that we're asking for approval of the resolution, something we do pretty much every year. It's for 2014-15 MoDOT Highway Speed Crash Reduction Hazardous Moving Enforcement Grant. The grant allows us for reimbursable dollars for overtime for enforcement training. On February 18th, this board approved our participation in the grant, and now we've been awarded it, so that's why we're here tonight, to ask for your approval. And the goal of the grant is to reduce fatality accident hazards moving. That's all.
Any questions of the chief on item number 2?
Motion to approve.
Mr. Kramer's got the motion to approve. Do I hear a second, Mr. Mock?
Yes.
Mr. Mock has the second. Any discussion before we vote on item number 2? Call the vote, please.
Alderman Kramer.
Yes.
Alderman Mock.
Yes.
Alderman Lightfoot.
Yes.
Alderman Van Buskirk.
Yes.
Alderman Ertz.
Yes.
Alderman Melson.
Yes.
Alderman Emerson.
Yes.
Alderman Jason Green.
Yes.
Alderman Azier.
Yes.
Alderman Josh Green.
Yes.
Very good. Thanks, Chief. Kind of expected Tom Cole to be working his way to the front right now. As Tom Cole waltzes to the front tonight as our interim finance director, doing double duty. Mr. Cole, anything you'd like to add on item number 3, please?
Can I read
Oh, you might want to read
Can I
it
read the
first,
resolution?
though. You might want to
first,
read it
Mr. Mayor?
first.
Item number 3, Resolution 2711-14, a resolution authorizing and approving the budget of the City of Raytown for the fiscal year 2014-2015.
Mr. Cole.
I will be yielding my time to Mr. Sharma, who has a presentation for the board.
Good evening, Mayor Bauer, Board of Aldermen. I do have a presentation to make tonight. It's our annual budget presentation for fiscal year 2014 and 15. But before I go into the slides, I will pause for a moment and see if the governing body has any question, or should I just go ahead and continue the presentation?
I think we ought to probably check the date on that, just for the official.
We'll make it 2014.
Okay. You're asking for just general comments, or you want to go ahead and begin the presentation?
I'm just asking before I begin my presentation if there is any question.
Mahesh, I would like for you to actually, if you're able to tonight, recognize some of the things that have happened in the last 7-8 years that this board and the previous board can take credit for and be responsible for and enjoy, along with the senior staff who have made many of these things happen. If you could just take a minute, if you would, and review with the audience, as you did with us at the retreat, the items that frankly have been good for the city of Raytown and where we've been and where we've taken the city in the last 8 years.
Okay, happy to do that. All right, as your city administrator, this is my 7th year presenting the budget to you. My recommendations in this budget is based on the direction provided during the July 2014 board goal-setting session, along with a thorough review of our current financial status. The recommended budget is a hold-the-line budget, but before I proceed with the slides, I would like to thank each and every staff members who participated in assembling the figures, numbers, and projections. Especially, I do want to thank Andy Boyd, Tony Mesa, Brenda Gutsuf, I will probably say it's wrong,
Brenda Gustafson,
and Teresa Henry. Andy Boyd and Tony Mesa has, along with Jason Henson, provided a lot of information that I'm going to be presenting tonight. Part of the presentation includes some of the historical accomplishments, some of the philosophical approach. I will not go in detail line items because that information was provided to you. Budget is about spending taxpayers' money, and therefore I will spend some time, as Mayor has stated, some of the accomplishments during the last 6, 7, 8 years. Part of the budget requirement by the state statute is I submit a balanced budget. So this budget presented to you will have a balanced budget. And as I said, I will go very quickly through the basic of the budget, what challenges and strategy we have encountered, what approach we have taken that will benefit our residents, business, employees, community, and the region. I will highlight some of the project accomplishment, what's included in the budget, what's new this year, and overall fiscal health, and what needs to be done to have a long-term sustainability. So, balanced budget is where your expenditure is less than revenue plus available resources or reserves. It's basically a plan. And what drives the budget is revenue. I have outlined some of the major events from 2005 to 2013. These are the events happening at the national level or at the global level. But everything is happening out there has an impact on us. Therefore, theme of my presentation would be, to every action, there is an equal reaction. That's, by the way, is a Newton's third law of motion. Or you can call it cause and effect. So every decision, everything we do has some effect. And I will try to demonstrate that some of the things we have accomplished or some of the things we have done has an impact on us. Let's talk about the challenges. Some of the challenges in the budget is the fixed cost, whether it's a payroll or paying the debt service, uncertain insurance cost increases, or the utility bills that we have to pay and how much they're going to increase, or funding the pension plan. That is fixed, we got to pay them. Some of the external factor that does impact us is the economy. What's the prices of the salt and fuel is going to be, what the interest rate market will be, what the consumer is spending, what folks are going to do in Jefferson City that is going to impact us. For example, this year, they have increased the Missouri Second Injury Fund, and that's a mandatory 3% increase towards worker compensation. So the state legislation have an impact on us, and what are the legal situation we are going to face is uncertain. I would take a moment and outline some of the legislative action that this governing body has taken in the last few years. Again, with the theme, everything we have done, every action we have taken has an impact on us. For example, we have developed the demolition of dangerous buildings to remove the blight and increase the quality of life. Great thing, but it does have an impact on the budget. And so it goes with the theme that there are a lot of things we have done are the good things, but I just wanted you to be aware of that. Again, with every action we do, there is a reaction. For residents, this budget includes a lot of items, but before I outline those items, I would like to thank the voters of Raytown for approving the renewal of the transportation and capital improvement sales taxes for another 10 years in the April 2014 election. Their affirmative vote provided an extension 1 year ahead of the expiration date. This overwhelming approval by voters of the tax renewal is a demonstration of their confidence and trust in our organization. Also, this shows they appreciate the work, progress, and accomplishments made during this decade. It is evident that the projects completed through these initiatives had tremendous impacts for the betterment of our city. Keeping our taxpayers' best interest is the top priority. The proposed budget focuses on projects and programs that benefits our residents. Numerous opportunities were outlined in the fall newsletter for our residents to get involved and shape the future of our city to make it best place to live and raise families. The budget submitted strives to limit the financial burden placed on our residents. This is the fourth year in a row that I'm recommending the no sewer rate increase. Residents also encouraged to take advantage of evaluating the options of winter average method for sanitary sewer bills. We're also continually assisting qualified senior citizens through the circuit breaker program. Residents are also benefiting through our brush cleanup coupons. We encourage our residents to participate in the stormwater mitigation program, which reimburses sump pump installation cost, removal of rainwater connections to sanitary sewer, and prevention of basement flooding. Our qualified residents can also take advantage of obtaining car seats at no cost through our city's participation in a state grant program. Also, child seat safety inspection and installation services are provided by our certified EMS staff at no cost to our residents. Public safety employees are deeply committed to assisting residents and business alike. The police department has established a crisis intervention team to assist mentally ill and distressed persons. The budget includes a neighborhood revitalization program. A neighborhood revitalization program is an excellent addition to the existing neighborhood stabilization program, demolition of dangerous buildings, and registration of vacant and abandoned houses program. All these efforts are inspired by our vision to enhance the quality of life for our residents. The budget includes a provision for purchasing streetlights currently leased from KCP&L. The lease savings will be dedicated towards future new streetlights. Our residents also enjoy one of the best snow removals in the region during winter weather operation. Along with the residents, businesses also will be benefit through the proposed budget. Various proposed transportation and capital improvement projects and economic development efforts will benefit our businesses and residents. Our businesses will also benefit from no sewer rate increases. Chapter 353 tax abatement program are also available for building improvements for downtown businesses. We have dedicated our resources to assist existing businesses. Last year, we adopted an economic development incentive policy to assist businesses that are planning to establish in Raytown. We have reviewed our development approval process and made it seamless through the use of technology and using one-stop shop concept. We are committed to work as a partner with Chamber of Commerce. On this slide, I outlined the community involvement through our team, elected official, directly or indirectly. I'm not going to go through each items. However, over the years, so many of our employees have been recognized throughout the region for their excellence, achievements, and awards. Many members of our organization also serve on key leadership positions with several local, regional, national, and international organizations. And I'm proud of our employees, team, and organization. I am also proud of our organization's involvement in community blood donation, as you see tonight with breast cancer awareness and recently participating in the Ice Bucket Challenge for raising funds for ALS. We are also involved with various regional efforts through Missouri Municipal League, Little Blue Valley Sewer District, Mid-America Regional Council, Eastern Jackson County Betterment Council, KCATA, etc. This slide indicates some of the operational efficiency that we implemented. As I already mentioned regarding the crisis intervention team, we have narrowed the gap between EMS operation. Recently, we outsourced sewer billing. We started taking credit card payments and so forth. Our EMT program is very successful, with resulted in 100% pass rate for students who attended last 3 batches of classes taught by our city instructors. They have inspected and installed hundreds of child safety seats. And recently we have installed the Encode financial software, and ADP payroll system is now an in-house function, which resulted in the saving the money. Our economic development administrator provides you quarterly reports and outlines some of the projects. So I'm not going to go through that, but I just listed some of the major projects completed during last 6-7 years. Now, let's go through what I will do, Mr. Green. If you turn that lights on so we can see the picture better, that would be awesome. A lot of things we have done, however, we probably not talked about it. Some of the ordinances that passed through that allowed us to remove the pole sign in the city. And as I mentioned in the title, so far we have removed 98 pole signs. Very soon we are going to reach the century mark. All those signs you see that are gone and replaced by the monument signs. That is another way of saying how we help to remove the blights. Some of the pictures I'm going to show before and after. This is the old First Baptist Church. Now it's a green space. I'm going to go a little quicker because I do want to go through the numbers. This is where you allowed us to demolish the building through the dangerous building demolition projects. We have a number of those buildings in the photograph has been removed. Again, this is a property on 350 highway removed, and we are positioning ourselves for redevelopment opportunity. Homes on 55th Street and Laurel through NSP program, what it used to look like, now what it is today. Amoco Station, that we used to hear a lot, is removed on 350 and Raytown Road. Stadium Car Wash, what it used to be before, what it is today. Opportunities regarding abandoned Dodge dealership, what it used to be. I don't know, somebody may have a favorite restaurant here. Abandoned Jeep dealership is a Hy-Vee convenience store today. Public Works facility is now renovated. Raytown Plaza went through renovation. Old Schnook, pedders would know that, is now a beautiful new Hy-Vee. Some of the city projects funded through the taxes supported by taxpayers. Center Gateway Project. '63rd Street Bridge. Our overlay program through funding, ERA funding on Woodson, overlay project on Sterling. Mayor talked about Andy Knowles' introduction of lightweight aggregate, Blue Ridge Sidewalk, which another funded, federal funded project. Our salt barn, what it used to be, a lot of violation, is now in compliances and a beautiful building, much more efficient in our operation. Sanitary sewer projects, installation of pipes, resizing the pipes through pipe bursting, recently completed White Oak project, manhole lining projects, and I'll keep up with my theme. Whatever we have done has benefits, and I will put that in terms of numbers. This is the storm sewer projects. Mr. Ager would know that deeply. On a Lakeshore Drive, what used to be a project that was unstable channel is stabilized. Our own EMS, where stormwater was not finding any place to go, and created a situation in the winter weather, a very dangerous situation, has been rectified. Some of the new facility, there's a new Dunkin' Donuts on 350 Highway. Old Walmart was converted into Sutherland and a new business. New Walmart on 350 Highway. New Aldi on 350 Highway. Jimmy John's, GameStop, and Chipotle. Quick Trip on 63rd and Blue Ridge Cutoff. Along with the business, we also have some residential development. Blue Ridge Villas on 59th Street and Hunter. Also through the partnership with New Habitat for Humanity House on 5800 block of Ralston. And new Willow Bend subdivision. I can tell you that there are 20 or 30 more pictures like that, but in the spirit of keeping this presentation to an acceptable length, I hide all those slides, but I just wanted to give you a peek of what we have accomplished in a short period of time. All right, so our strategy when we go through the budget, and I repeated that in the past, the budget process actually never stops. At the time you approve the budget, we work on the next year's budget. We crunch the number, we look at the revenue forecast, understanding what's in the pipeline. Basically, the budget is the hold the line. We go through the goal-setting session and see what comes out of it. We develop a strategy and prioritize and justify each and every project. We also look at our audits and see what kind of recommendation they have suggested to us. We try to break down the cost for 5 years. We wanted to make sure we have a healthy fund balances to ensure that we have a great credit ratings. A lot of time when we think about revenue forecast, we take a very conservative approach. And when we are bringing the expenditures, we make it generous assumptions. We try to use the technology to being working more efficiently. We focus on training our workforce so that we are efficient, not only the way we do business, but how we use the fixtures, equipment, or a great example of what kind of even fuel we use. And I can tell you, today we have a less workforce and doing many, many more projects. This slide, I do want to focus some of the adverse budgetary impacts, and the point is just to outline the challenges. For example, the Westridge property that we sold, obviously we lost about $100,000 on that property because by the time we settled that property through an agreement, but by the time we sold it, we couldn't recoup the money. Up to date, we have encumbered $10,000 for charter expense. So far, it has been kept very well to that expense. We had once an opportunity to sell the green space for $650,000. That property is vacant, so therefore no revenue was received. As I mentioned, with 4 years in a row, I recommended not to increase the sewer rate. And based on the sewer rate study that we did in 2010, they recommended that we should, from here on, increase 6% per year sewer rate increase. Not doing it has an impact of about $87,500 every year. If you recall, I mentioned about state had mandatory increase the 3% worker compensation for second injury fund. That has a $6,500 per year ongoing expenditure on us. At one point, fire department used to use our dispatch. A couple of years ago, they ceased that operation. That has about $50,000 revenue loss. We froze the police pension plan and moved to loggers. However, we have to pay the unfunded liability on that program. That would be $150,000 for roughly 30 plus years. $300,000 revenue loss when Walmart moved from their old location to went into the TIF district. And had the neighborhood market took place and constructed on a green space, the combined loss of property tax and sales tax is in the amount of $500,000, and that does include the property tax that would have gone to entities other than cities. We are very proud to say that we have not increased the property tax levy for decades. Obviously, that has an impact. Had we increased or decided to increase the property tax levy, by state statute, we can go up to 1.0. However, the city fathers chose not to look into that direction. Constant key staff turnover, and I have not put that into the dollar, but has a budgetary impact on us because it does take a lot of time and money to attract new employees. And also, I could not put in terms of the dollar a demand for unfunded or unsustainable projects that do come to us from time to time. All right, so I just painted a scary picture here. So what happens? So what do we do and how we are dealing with it? The only way it can be done is through, obviously, as in my very first few slides, I indicated that revenue drives the budget. Well, in the absence of new revenue, what you do is reduce the expenses or create a policy, management policy, or seek the grant money and leverage city dollars and work with the staff. And as I mentioned, we have less staff today than we had in the past, and do the work through creating efficiency. The next slide, I'm just going to show you what the audit report after completion of 2013 audit indicated. Again, that information is out there, nothing new. What they mentioned in the audit report was the assets exceeded liability by 18 millions plus, which was an increase of $981,000. Again, increasing asset is a good thing. Increasing liability is not so good thing. So we were positive in that regard. Decrease in revenue, and that's based on the audit number. Our revenue declined. However, our net position increased by $191,000. Expenses decreased by $1.4+ million. There is no magic to it. It is just what you need to do when your revenue is declining. Also, audit mentioned that management implemented cost-saving programs. This is a third party looking into our policies and procedures and making an impartial statement. Big deal. Combined fund balances of $16.9 million, that also increased by $900,000. Third straight year of increasing fund balances, as I talk about the importance of having a healthy fund reserves. Sanitary sewer fund increased by $789,000. So when we have sanitary sewer fund increase, that is one of the reasons why we were able to recommend no sewer rate increase. Outstanding debt decrease. Again, every time when you can decrease your debt is a good thing or a good direction that we are heading. So outstanding debt decreased by $1.3+ million. Good thing. Every year that the budget you approve, what you're approving is basically an expenditure. The budget that you approve, and at the end of the year when the audit is done, we have never exceeded the approved expenditure. We always come under what you have approved in the budget. And that's, again, a great accomplishment. All right. This slide came very quickly. What I wanted to say, recently I have a conversation with one of the prominent city leaders, and we were just communicating and talking. And I just simply asked, do you have any idea how much money we brought through various grants? And the answer was really maybe $1 million or a couple $1 million. This slide represents about from 2007 to 2014, in 7 years, we were able to get $8.1 million in the grant. Obviously, that grant also includes what is included in the current budget, but we are in 2014. Through that $8.2 million, we participated through regional grants with the partnership with the other community. What it means, like, we didn't get the direct advantage of those dollars. However, through the regional partnership, the money came to the region. We become partner with Kansas City, Missouri, or Gladstone, or 19 other communities. Even though we didn't see the dime, however, when we jointly apply for funds through the regional grants, that helps our region to receive the money. As I was showing you number of sanitary sewer projects, to date, we have completed, again in the period of 2007 to 2014, $12 million worth of projects. Mostly those are underground projects and you don't see them. But there is a huge impact of those improvements. What a rain event that we had in the past couple months could have generated about 500 phone calls for the people having a basement flooding or other stormwater related issue. Now we have maybe a handful of those calls that we receive. So huge impact on the city. And through those grant money, the city also injected about $7.27 million worth of a major projects. There are a lot of other projects, that are minute, but all told, in total, it's about $35.6 million. So it's, again, a great, great accomplishment. The current budget also had about $2.6 million worth of a grant project that I outline in this slide, $160,000 for 59th Street sidewalk, $175,000 for bike lane on Blue Ridge Boulevard, $483,000 for downtown streetscape project, $433,000 for bicycle and pedestrian trail, $637,500 for improvement towards 350 and Raytown Road, and $720,000 for 350 highway from Maple to Sterling projects. All right, so if you recall during the budget hearing presentation, Chief Lynch mentioned about the communication tower at the very infancy. There was an estimation of about $8 million that would require to construct that tower. Through their efforts, the tower was built at about $1.5 million. $175,000, we saved it through refunding of sewer bond. $25,000 on delinquent business and occupational license recovery. $160,000 to correct the residency discrepancy where people were paying taxes in different jurisdictions. We collected that money, and also close to $100,000 collection from 3 large apartments that were delinquent in their sewer payment. Ongoing saving, we have changed the sewer bills that at one point we were required to send through certified mail, then it becomes the first-class mail, and finally through changes at the state legislation, we were able to send it through the bulk mail. That resulted in $47,000 ongoing saving per year. $17,000 we experienced saving when we changed from ADP to brought the payroll system in-house. We opposed the county proposal to reduce the 0.5% tax collection fee from currently at 1%. That would have a saving of a $70,000 had the county would have gone ahead with 0.5% tax collection fees. We changed the billing method with Kansas City, Missouri. That resulted about $200,000 saving in our sanitary sewer bill or treatment costs that goes toward Kansas City, Missouri. Through use of collection agencies, Credit World, we were able to get $15,500 in EMS fee collection. And here is the biggie. The inflow and infiltration reduction with the help of $12 million project that I described earlier. If you take the flow that we used to send it to Little Blue Valley Sewer District and compare that the flow we had in 2009 to today's rate, and if we would not have made those improvements, we would be paying $735,000 every year from here on. So, all told in total, about close to over $8 million combined one-time and ongoing saving. What I cannot put into the numbers, as we talked tonight regarding the lightweight aggregate seal projects, to extend the life of our infrastructure, I cannot put the dollar amount on it tonight. I cannot put the dollar amount savings that this city has received through cooperative purchase and procurement. I cannot also put in dollar terms what used to be an old way of doing disposition of surplus property and how much better money we got through the online surplus property, as well as I can tell you there was a growth in fines and forfeitures. Give you a little bit of a fiscal pictures after painting the scary note. I'm talking about a lot of positive things we have done. $300,000 was a gap that we had at one point in EMS revenue versus expenditure. It's a culmination of a number of things through the rate, structure, to bill collection, to the better control, and a better operation and efficiency. This year, I also reduced $40,000 from the law budget based on the 3-4 year worth of a historic expenditure. That's what we will come up with. $200,000, I reduced it. What we parked at one point towards insurance, vacation payout, and reserves. And I did that. At one point in our budget, we have a $900,000 reserve for that. Last year's audit report says our obligation is $600,000. I kept $700,000 that released $200,000 in there. Why I did that? Because that is based on the worst case scenario. That vacation insurance payout, $600,000 is worth in a situation when everybody walks out of the city. That's the obligation we have. And therefore, there was no need to carry on that kind of money. And our estimate was, again, very conservative. $60,000 from Distler CID, we have reserved for our CIP projects. $48,000 we would save once the Salt Barn lease will expire in 2017. Our general fund reserve, right now it is at 17%, is about $2.266 million. $266,000 can be utilized if we change our policy in the reserve fund to saying instead of 17%, we should keep $2 million. That's something in the future item. Right now, I'm not suggesting that. Also, one of the great accomplishment we had in last several years was the approval of the public safety sales tax. And that has resulted a positive revenue in our system in the amount of about $1.45 million. Also, when we were going initially in the budget, I put $300,000 towards the P25 radio projects. But what we found that project is complete. Most department has already bought that radios. Therefore, it released another $300,000 from the budget. Also, as I mentioned, about $100,000, we lost it through the sale of Westridge property. However, through the sale of that property, now we have additional $100,000 in the budget. So overall, I feel pretty good about the financial health of the city. Some of the items I just mentioned in this slide also has a positive impact on our revenue pictures. The current budget does not include any sewer rate increase. I think I mentioned it a number of times. It has an assumption of a $3.40 per gallon for gas and $3.50 per gallon for diesel, and assumption of $1.60 per gallon for propane. It does include the stormwater mitigation program. Budget also include professional development plan for police officers. Budget also include money for dangerous building demolition. Budget include money for newsletter, which has now become a very popular item for our residents to receive information. Budget also include a 4% across the board pay increases. Highlight of some of the items in 2014-2015 budget. We have included $40,000 for April 2015 election, $30,000 for break room remodel in police department, $125,000 for 4 marked police vehicle, $800,000 for HVAC, ceiling, floor, squad room, renovation in police department, $50,000 towards a street light replacement program, the light that we lease from KCP&L, $250,000 for 83rd Street Bridge project, and $35,000 for propane conversion of 4 vehicles in public works. There are a number of other items, but I thought those were the few highlights of the budget. In terms of the fiscal health, we have implemented some sound fiscal policies. I can assure you that this city is fiscally strong today. We have no general obligation debt. We are still maintaining healthy reserves. We have risk management fund that we utilize towards education and preventing risk and liability to the city. Through last bond, we received strong credit ratings. Our tax initiatives are reviewed by a Citizen Oversight Review Committee, and we also have appropriate checks and balances in place. All these things, the fiscal health of the city is not an accident. It requires a lot of dedicated workforce, huge efforts, a lot of thinking that goes around. And I think I would say that the current situation, the fiscal health of the city is much better than it was 6, 7, 8 years ago. However, for the long-term sustainability of this city, we continually to look at how we can enhance our revenue. We are looking into providing the real-time online access so the citizens can be benefited. Now, this year we went through the transition and have not applied for CAFRS or for GFOA award, but that would be our goal, that once we have a finance director in place, we continue to do that. And if you recall, I mentioned the Habitat for Humanity home. I think we have to continue to utilize the public-private, not-for-profit organization partnership for the betterment of our community. That is the last slide. I didn't put a question mark, but I'll be happy to answer any question you may have. I have most of the department directors and their support staff if you have any question or concern.
Mahesh, I think that's something that we should all be very proud of. The citizens, the senior staff, and this board should be very proud of the accomplishments that you've just spelled out for us. I think that it continues to be exciting to be a part of this city, and as we move forward, we look for even greater things to happen than even this past 6, 7, 8 years. So appreciate all your efforts. I'll ask the board at this time if they have any questions of Mahesh at this time. Mr. Ertz?
Thank you, Mayor, and thank you, Mahesh, for a great presentation. It's nice when you're seeing lots of good things go by, and it keeps going by, and it keeps going by. That's an excellent problem to have. I hope we can continue down that road. I do not have any further questions as far as the city budget goes, or as far as this section of it goes. I do have questions pertaining to our Parks Department budget, but I believe for tonight's purposes, I would like to make the motion that we approve this budget minus the Parks Department, or exempting the Parks Department from that approval. In 2 weeks, the Parks Department and the Board of Aldermen will be meeting to discuss Super Splash and its future. Also in the future, the Parks, Buildings, and Grounds will also have a meeting to further discuss that. And the Parks Board will have another meeting before we meet again. So I do not feel it's necessary that we necessarily have to approve that tonight. A lot of us, at least I know I am, and I'm sure several people I've talked to are saddened with the news of Super Splash's possible demise, and we'd like to talk a little more, see more solutions to it. Plus, I still have questions to go through with them on their budget at that time. So I appreciate short.
Mr. Green?
If I could second that motion, and basically just ditto. I was going to say the exact same thing, but Mr. Rich just stole it out of my mouth. I'm sorry.
All right, we've got
That's
a
all I have
motion
to say,
and a second to approve the budget, 2015 budget, with the exception of you want to pull out the park budget for further consideration. Everybody understand the motion? Discussion on the motion. Ms. Emerson?
My problem was with the park thing, so I have no questions if
Okay.
that's going to be pulled out.
Mr. Asia?
Yeah, Mahesh, have we set any money aside, or how much money do we set aside for stormwater projects for next year?
We have set aside $25,000 in the budget. That is one of the requirements that we have been doing it. However, I can tell you, as I was providing some of the slides, and I haven't put everything, otherwise we'll be here a couple more hours. Our public works staff has been reviewing the stormwater along with the sanitary sewer, and if they found anything that has created an emergency situation, I think they identified one project that they will be coming to the governing body in a very near future to correct that issue. But to answer your question, $25,000, however, we are not shy if there is a problem or a project that we perceive is important and serious and critical for us to consider.
Okay, and I'm going to repeat that. So you have 25,000 set aside for emergencies, and you'll also be presenting another project in the
That's
future.
correct.
Thank you.
All right, other questions on the motion? We're in discussion on the motion. No further discussion on the motion? You do have a motion and a second been made. I'll ask the city attorney to read the vote on approval of the 2015 budget except for the park budget.
Alderman Ertz.
Yes.
Alderman Josh Green.
Yes.
Alderman Jason Green.
Yes.
Alderman Melson.
Yes.
Alderman Van Buskirk.
Yes.
Alderman Lightfoot.
Yes.
Alderman Kramer.
Yes.
Alderman Azier.
Yes?
Alderman Emerson.
Yes.
And Alderman Mock.
Yes.
A unanimous approval of the 2015 budget. Nice job by senior staff. Mahesh, thank you for your hard work on this, for the board's review, careful review of the budgets that's been presented by the staff directors and managers coming forward and working on their budgets. We will look forward to continuing to review the park board budget. It is my own personal goal that park board reconsiders their position on keeping Super Splash open, and I look forward to working with the park board to make sure that Super Splash is open this coming year. So with that, we have approved item number 3, and we're going to move on to item number 4 now, please.
Item number 4, Resolution R2712-14, a resolution authorizing and approving the expenditure of funds to the Wilson Group, Inc., related to development and public affairs renovations in an amount not to exceed $28,216.55.
Mr. Knoll, anything you would like to add on this topic, sir?
This renovation for the Development and Public Affairs Office is intended to make them more efficient in services provided to the front desk, not employees, sorry, but to the residents who come to the front desk either wanting dog licenses, need to redeem a dog, need a building permit, or want to talk about business licenses or to establish a new business in the city. This will remove a wall that currently separates those areas so that multiple employees will be able to have a visual line of sight to that front office space. That is the intent of this project, to make them more efficient, more effective with that. There are some drawings in the packet that show the existing conditions and the proposed conditions. Here to answer any of the questions you may have.
Any
Request
questions of
approval.
Mr. Knoll? Ms. Emerson.
I make a motion to approve.
Second.
Ms. Emerson has a motion to approve, second by Ms. Melson. We're into discussion on item 4. Mr. Van Buskirk.
Mr. Knoll, this is in addition to the improvements we had approved back a short time ago. Is that correct?
Yes, it is in addition to the funds that were approved for the renovations of the bathrooms and the funds that were approved for the renovation of the boardroom. This is an additional expense.
Okay. And,
it was budgeted in the capital sales tax of the budget.
Thank you. And I appreciate, I requested that we take a look at that area tonight, and you graciously took me back and showed me. I appreciate that. Thank you.
Other questions, Mr. Knoll, are on this topic before we vote? All right, we've got a motion and a second on item number 4. No further discussion. Ask the city attorney to call the vote, please.
Alderman Emerson.
Yes.
Alderman Melson.
Yes.
Alderman Azier.
Yes.
Alderman Mock.
Yes.
Alderman Jason Green.
Yes.
Alderman Ertz.
Yes.
Alderman Kramer.
Yes.
Alderman Lightfoot.
Yes.
Alderman Josh Green.
Yes.
Alderman Van Buskirk.
Yes.
Unanimous. Thank you. Ask the city attorney to provide the first reading on item number 5. I would make note, however, to the board that we will be asking, our staff is requesting a suspension of the rules. So keep that in mind as the city attorney reads the bill for the first time.
Bill number 636914, an ordinance amending ordinance 5501-14 and establishing the annual property tax levy rate for the City of Raytown General Operating Fund and the Park Fund for the year 2014.
All right, Mr. Cole or Mr. Sharma before us tonight to answer questions on this.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, Board of Aldermen. At the conclusion of my presentation, I forgot to mention a few names, and I'll take that liberty and do it now and then hand it over to Mr. Tom Cole to talk about the levy. The one individual who really helped us through this transition period is Ben Hart. He has compiled this budget. I don't know how many times myself and other department head had questioned for him, and how many times the number changes, and one impact of a number change has a huge impact on the rest of the document. And he was very patient with us and helped us out through this. So I do want to recognize Ben for your effort and appreciate everything you've done. Another thing I forgot to mention was Tom Cole, who has graciously accepted my request to help us out during the interim time period until our new finance director start here about a month from now, to become an acting finance director. He really helped me to shield some of the routine daily mundane issue that really didn't need my time and my attention, and I needed somebody to help that department. And I think he's counting days, but I do want to appreciate publicly for his role. He didn't have to do it, but he stepped up and did it. So thank you, Tom. And now, here you go.
Mayor, Board of Aldermen, in regard to Bill number 6369-14, this item should seem familiar to you. We covered it actually in 2 readings last month. Basically, the county, and by state law, the city of Raytown has to report its levy rate by October 1st of every year. We did that. Our second council meeting last month was on the 16th. On the 18th, we received yet another round of revised assessment numbers from the county. So 2 days after this body approved it, the newer numbers came to our attention. And essentially what the outcome of that is we're asking for an amendment to that ordinance. We received our final notice of that valuation from the county, and we recalculated the levy rates using the formula supplied by the state auditor's office. Those calculations indicated a final levy rate of 0.3671 per $100 of assessed valuation for general city operations, and a rate of 0.1838 per $100 assessed valuation for park operations. What that really means is the 2014 final rates represent a net decrease of 0.002 from the 2013 rate, and a decrease of 0.0066 of what was approved last month. So basically, where last month we increased the levy rate by, I believe, 0.0046 or some number about there, we're actually rolling that back, so it's less of a rate than we've actually had. So that's really why this is coming back to you again.
Okay, any questions of Mr. Cole? And I remind the board that we are going to be asking for suspension of the rules. Mr. Ertz.
Is this the proper time to ask for the suspension of the rules?
Works for me.
I like it when we all agree. I make a motion to suspend the rules.
I'll second.
Motion's been made by Mr. Ertz to suspend the rules on this particular item. It's been seconded by Mr. Kramer. Actually had it a nose before Ms. Melson, so we'll give him the second on this one. Any discussion on suspension of the rules? Call the vote on that, please.
I would note it would require two-thirds approval to suspend the rules.
Two-thirds approval. Okay, thank you.
Mr. Alderman Ertz.
Yes.
Alderman Kramer.
Yes.
Alderman Jason Green.
Yes.
Alderman Van Buskirk.
Yes.
Alderman Emerson.
Yes.
Alderman Josh Green.
Yes.
Alderman Melson.
Yes.
Alderman Azier.
Yes.
Alderman Mock.
Yes.
And Alderman Lightfoot.
Yes.
So, Mr. Willerth, if we only needed two-thirds and we have a unanimous, that's still acceptable, isn't it?
It'll work for me tonight, yes, Mayor. That'll be good.
Perform the second reading on it this time, please.
Second reading of Bill 636914, an ordinance amending Ordinance 550114 and establishing the annual property tax levy rate for the City of Raytown General Operating Fund and the Park Fund for the year 2014.
All right, this is the second reading. It's now been performed. Assuming that Mr. Cole doesn't have anything else to add since the last first reading on this,
No additional material.
we'll go straight to discussion or a motion to approve.
Motion to approve.
Mr. Kramer's got the motion to approve, seconded by Mr. Azier. Discussion on this particular item. Ms. Emerson.
Now, on this, there is a decrease from 13, or there's an increase?
There actually is a decrease, I believe.
Okay, that's what
Yes.
I needed to know.
Decrease
I thought so,
of
I just wanted to verify that.
0.0020 lower than 13 rate,
Okay,
yes.
that's what I thought, I just wanted to verify it. Thank you.
Yes.
Mr. Van Buskirk.
And you might note that that decrease in the mill levy is both for parks and for the
Correct.
city. Correct. Thank you.
Any further discussion? Mr. Lightfoot.
No, my comment was the same as Alderman Emerson. I just wanted the people to be clear because the last vote, which came a couple of weeks ago, was voted on an increase, and this is definitely a decrease, so this is a different vote than the previous. I just wanted that to be clear as well.
Very good. No further discussion. I ask the city attorney to call the vote on this item, please.
Alderman Kramer.
Yes.
Alderman Azier.
Yes.
Alderman Van Buskirk.
Yes.
Alderman Josh Green.
Yes.
Alderman Lightfoot.
Yes.
Alderman Mock.
Yes.
Alderman Jason Green.
Yes.
Alderman Melson.
Yes.
Alderman Ertz.
Yes.
And Alderman Emerson.
Yes.
With that, Mr. Mock, did you still want the motion to adjourn?
Yes, sir.
And Mr. Josh Green, you want the second on that? All right, we got a motion and a second to adjourn. All in favor? Aye. All opposed? We are adjourned. Thank you. Nice job.